following podcast may contain strong language. Listener discretion is advised.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to the new Hallmark of Greatness, the show that transports you into the future by the gift of Hallmark and made-for-TV movies. I'm Joe, and with me as always, the lover of fiery lizards and his hobby of whipping rocks at them, it's James.
And that keeled over, then just exploded.
Yeah.
Death traps.
And a man who has been out participating in his new favourite pastime of being twirled around by a big rubber eagle man, it's Planty.
Wink.
Yeah.
They were all really strange sizes, all those creatures. I still can't get over that. I know it's been 2 weeks, but all I can think about is just the changing sizes of creatures.
Don't
Which
worry
is a good
about
name for
it.
a band, I guess.
They
I
didn't.
missed that film now.
Jesus, do I wish we watched that again.
It's like the Green Mile in comparison. Before we get into that, though, if you want to keep up to date with all of the Hallmark of Greatness gossip, you can follow us on Twitter at Hallmark of Great, all one word. We are on Instagram, Facebook, and Threads at Hallmark of Greatness. It is technically Christmas season now, and so we will be doing Christmas films for the next month, possibly. I don't know. I don't even know what the schedule is anymore. I'm so tired of all of this.
Sick.
This is a weird start to the season for us.
I will say this is quite possibly the worst film in the 3 years I've been doing this.
We've been discussing this before we recorded, and we can't find a film that is worse.
I will honestly say this is, the worst film.
Listeners, I am not getting paid this month for this choice. It's
Yes. No lie down hugs for
money.
you.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. The money's going to the orphans instead.
I would kick an orphan rather than have to watch. I don't know what that means. We are, of course, talking about. I don't even want to say it. Because it doesn't make sense. 2013's Mr. Scrooge to See You.
Let's just say it nice.
Jesus. It would have been better if Brucey was Scrooge.
It would, yeah. If Bruce's ghost was that of Marley instead. Higher than a Scrooge, my love. Higher than a Scrooge.
What day is it today, my love? Make a note of that. Yeah. I don't understand Mr. Scrooge to See You. It doesn't even work as a pun.
To see who?
You!
You
in the nude.
Who?
In
You.
the back.
You
He's
too.
looking through the windows. I mean, did the synopsis machine work, or did it explode in a fit of pique?
Oh, well, you better crank it out.
I'll see if it works.
Yes, it's here. The mulled drama sleigh of Yuletide.
Nice.
It arrives. And I put in Mr. Scrooge to See You 2013, and it came up with this. Autumn Scrooge is a rural jingle bell tune who's a bit down on the holidays because her parents are big moralizers and big salad makers. She changes her mind when she meets Lazarus Yu, the son of Santa, who names his biscuits after members of the Manson family instead of his own family, and whose favourite thing is gifts. You'd better pull up your stocking when Santa gets shot down by Homeland Security and the pair must work together. Will they attend the Jingle Ball? Very doubtful.
That's the best one yet. Like, there's so much going on.
Biscuits after the Manson family. Yeah.
If that was 2 hours, it would be a rollicking ride.
Get the
Unlike
squeaky
this.
foam cookies, yeah.
A son of Santa implies that there are many, and then I thought the dynastic struggles there must be, well, worthy of a film.
Well, the fact he's not even got the same surname, Santa.
Ah,
He's a kind of
what, Lazarus
Zeusian-
Yu?
Yeah, he's a Zeusian sort of love child, isn't he? Like when Santa disguised himself as a
There's a bull.
yeah,
A
I was
reindeer
I was
down.
going to say a hedge, but that doesn't make any sense. The actual synopsis for 2013's Mr. Scrooge to See You. 1 year after the classic Dickens A Christmas Carol, Ebenezer Scrooge finds himself on a new journey. Once again, he is visited by Jacob Marley. This time, Scrooge is sent on an adventure which takes him into the life of Timothy Cratchit VI, the great-great-great-grandson of Bob Cratchit.
Much of an adventure, is it?
No,
To downtown Toronto or something.
Wisconsin.
it was supposed to be with New Britain, Wisconsin, which I don't think it was.
No, there's a New Britain in, I think it's Connecticut.
Right.
That was the big reveal of this film.
Yeah, there's a New Berlin in Wisconsin.
Yes.
Oh.
But I ain't looking for New England.
No,
I'm looking for New Berlin.
But it all looked like it was filmed right near like a drug rehabilitation clinic in Canada somewhere. This is 2013, and I thought, how badly has this aged? But then it looks like it was filmed in like 1982.
It looked like some religious group had seen The Room and gone, "We're going to do that one. We're going to do that one."
I mean, let's get into it. It is a salty production.
I had Salt the Earth Productions. I thought it was a bit mean.
Salty Earth Pictures. Is what it is. It's based on. I don't know if anybody made it to the end credits of this.
Sadly, yes.
There's a quote in. It's not Corinthians. It's like Big Ian. What's it called?
Tupac. Big Ian. What?
It's
Sean Puffy
Corinthians. It's like
the
Palermo, the other Brazilian
Big
football
Ian
team.
It's the verse of Big Ian anyway, and it's something about may the earth be salty and the womb of thy.
So you can't grow any big salads.
What is happening? We're only 2 seconds in, and I'm confused. This is worse than the Big Egg. But fun thing, directed by Zammo from from Grange Hill. When he's not hiding his smack in his calculator, he's directing dog shit Scrooge rip-offs. Obviously not. It was by Stephen Zambo.
Yes.
It's one of those things that you drive over the ice in hockey stadiums, isn't it?
Yes. It's powered by heroin, though. He only wants
Don't
to help
let Bronson catch you, Zammo.
Bronson's got to pay. References for people of a certain age. Oh, right. And then
anything to stop us talking about Jacob Marley's shit apparition.
Oh, mate. Fuck.
Right. I thought, am I watching a CD-ROM interactive game on the Mega CD or something? Because this is what it feels like.
This was previously on A Christmas Carol, wasn't it? What's going on here? Like, we've all seen it, mate. We know what's going on.
Everyone knows the story of this, but
Scrooge
like any
changed,
good Batman film or Spider-Man film, we have to see them getting bitten by a spider or their parents dying.
Yep. Marley, by the way, looked like the lead singer from Creed in this. He's welcoming us all to the film with arms wide open.
Scrooge I've got down as a non-union Derek Jacobi.
I also had that, played by David Ruprecht, which I think is Steve Martin's character in Dirty Rotten Scoundrels.
Is it?
At no point did he have an eye patch and a cork on a fork in this, sadly.
Yeah, I'm sure we will get to it when we get to James Facts, but it wasn't until about halfway through I recognised his voice from something, and I haven't looked it up because that'll be exciting, won't it? Exciting that happens in this film.
Was it from All Your Nightmares?
Well, I actually thought he was, the fellow that freezes to death in Scrooged.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was him for a long time, but then it turns out it's David Ruprecht, the bear.
There's a bit where he knocks on the door wobbles. I've got throughout this, it's very panto. Actually, the most similar film I was thinking that this is to, that we've done, is the Monster Mash musical. And actually, it could have done with being a musical. I've never said that about any film before.
I would have
for a film with so much padding in it, where nothing happens.
Nope, nothing. There's a lot of... Now, I would have loved to have seen Petra's solo.
Oh, yes, please.
But
Petra
it's so
is the saving grace of this film.
It's so badly written. Would you want songs that are that badly written?
Yeah, they get the guy from Creed to write them.
You could.
I'm sorry, mother. The bridge is out. Or whatever.
These chains that Marley's got, by the way, look like they're off of My Pet Monster.
They are, like, the budget for... I don't think we've got a budget for this film, have we? I'm guessing
we haven't.
8p. Because, like I said, everything's wobbly. The sets look like they shoot porn on them as well. Like, and a lot of it is external. Like, there's a lot of outside shooting, which I'm guessing they didn't get licenses for. They just shot them very early.
Hopefully they're shooting the pornos on at least that one table that's got the dressing table on it. Because none of the others do for some reason. It's just that one. Anyway, there's a monologuing Jacob Marley. And then he says
don't tell Jacob.
I'd kill me. Bit of an oxymoron, don't you think? No, I don't think that.
No,
that's not an oxymoron.
No. It's trying to be funny, but I was like, this is not. What's happening? Why are we like...
he does this this joke thing, doesn't he, with like, because obviously it's the next day and we go through the whole I didn't miss it and you're like, yeah, we know you didn't miss it.
It's a
and then he's
year.
like,
It's a year Christmas. It's a Christmas. So Scrooge wakes up on Christmas Day in the end of the book, doesn't he? And this is Christmas Eve the following year.
Yeah.
So he's been as good as his word and better. We get there's a lot of this lifted line from the book as
very
well.
much so.
Like,
yeah.
Zammo was phoning this in, but he's like, but now it is Christmas Eve, and like a boat turns round on the mantelpiece or something. I was like, what's going on here? What was that for? I didn't understand. I thought like a secret.
There was like an owl clock as well, and the owl clock's got a bit of string attached to it, and it goes bonk, and it's like, well, somebody's obviously pulled that then. No surprises there. We cut to New Britain, Wisconsin, home of the dinner bell. It's Belle that runs it.
Non-union and Hesh.
I got non-union Denise Welch.
Oh, very good. Yeah.
Along with her trusty sidekick, Petra, who doesn't understand
anything.
Why she won't charge anybody for anything.
It's because she's named after a Blue Peter dog. That's why.
My sister's called Petra.
It's because she's named after a Blue Peter
she
dog.
Is, yes.
That's why.
Yep, that's why. And she's Spanish. She's Mexican. She's Latina. Yeah. Which pays off? Question mark? No.
Nope.
But Belle, this cafe has a more like there's 3 homeless people sitting around, I think, demanding food.
Essentially,
coffee.
It's a homeless cafe. And now there's nothing wrong with that, but then it is supposed to be a business.
Yes.
And she's running this fucking business into the ground.
Yeah. And don't forget the extra cheese.
You get what you're given, Wendy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I know it's Christmas and that, and look, I'm all for supporting, the poor at Christmas, but Jesus, like, think yourself grateful. And then
have
a little bit later on, she gets all the cheese. So
well.
That's...
Is that what that was about? Because I thought that was incredibly random at the end. Of the film.
It was just let's get rid of all the stock kind of thing. And it was at this point, one of them, I think Belle mentions, but it's like in Corinthians. Something.
She does.
And I just went, oh fuck, it's a religious film.
Remember that whatever you do unto them, you do unto me, or something like that. And Petra just goes, ugh. Like, and I understand because Petra's not been paid in 4 months either.
Colossians, that's what it was. I was like, I'll remember
Big
that
Ian.
as being, as being Big Ian.
Jesus.
But I forgot what it was anyway, so that didn't pay off, did it?
And she's like, oh no, it's the Bridge Club, and if they weren't here, they'd be somewhere else. And I was like, again, like, charity's fine, but they're going to put you, and then they're going to have nowhere to go, are they? Like
the Bridge Club stopping goats crossing the river since 2003.
Who's that not bringing cheese over my bridge?
Yeah. Did you see the fake teeth on this homeless guy, by the way? They looked like they were just out of a cracker.
A lot of this had big Wolf Cop vibes of they just got people in to do bits.
I was too busy looking at the coffee machine that said "espresso yourself."
Nice.
Oh, right. Okay. I could do.
I don't even think that was a bit. I think that's just what was on the machine. Tim Cratchit walks into the joint with his sidekick Ronaldo. I think it was Ronald, but I got bored of writing that. And he's prospecting for a boutique condo, I think I've got.
Yeah, because they're always building condos, aren't they, or whatever. It's you tell he's evil because he's got a long black business coat on.
Yes,
And then, like, Shannon goes, oh, sorry, Shannon. Belle goes, oh, that's Tim. We used to go to high school together. We nearly dated. And Petra's like, okay, like there's no sort of rhyme and reason to any of this whatsoever.
There's certainly not even been a second pass around the table with the script, is there?
Look, Zammo doesn't do second passes.
Do you still like your coffee like your heart? Black. She doesn't say, but it would be a better line if she did.
It would be better if she said something instead of just like shuffling over to him and going, "You're right, Tim. Do you remember me?" And he kind of goes, like, it's they're going on about the homeless people being in there, and he's like, make a note, Ronaldo, that this is a horrible area, so maybe don't put the nice condos here or something. I was like, well, if you're going to gentrify the whole area, you can kill all the homeless people like Rudy Giuliani did.
Very good. You got to start somewhere, haven't you, Rudy? Yeah.
Putting his hand down his pants, allegedly. And she goes, right, just a coffee then. And like Ronaldo's going, oh, I'll have a number 2. Oh, no, not number 2. But yeah, and he's like, no, just
said it stank in there.
Yeah. And then like he's
Well,
like,
yeah,
oh,
because he says as well that, oh, you got this business from your dad, didn't you? That's not the only thing you inherited. You also inherited debt. And she's like,
debt.
well, yeah, you could go on about that, but are you ready to order? And he goes, nothing, just coffee, which isn't nothing. How much will that be? Oh, I don't know, 20 grand then. In that case.
She goes $3, and he takes out this massive roll of money and like peels 3 off it, and I'm like, who's walking around a rough neighborhood with like a grand in loose change? If I was that cheese lady, I'd have rolled him outside. Like, I can have as many mini baby bells as I can fit in my mouth.
He's the secret millionaire.
Well, Petra just wants to straight up murk him because she's talking about poisoning.
No, as soon as he comes in, she goes, oh, he's got some money, and immediately is like, sploosh. Yeah, and I was like, Petra. Sorry.
The point is, she's got to deal with the bank to pay off the debt eventually. And he's like, no, the bank's a sham. You know, you're doing a really poor job, and so's the bank. She's like, no, the deal is with Main Street Bank. I mean, Main Street Bank was a bit on the nose. I'm assuming the address is 10 King
Credibility
Road
Street
in Ipswich.
Yeah, and he's like, no, we fired Mr. Jenkins or whatever because you haven't paid your mortgage, and you've only got until Christmas Day to pay it up. Otherwise, you're out on your ear. And no amount of talent shows, breakdancing competitions, or skiing tournaments are going to earn you enough money. I thought that'd have been better, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
No amount of selling drugs outside the drug rehabilitation place.
And then she goes, and she's like, all right, well, balls to you. Goes over, and then he comes up, he goes, like, where's my change? I was like, you gave her $3. Like,
yeah. And then she hands him like a massive wad of cash as well. It's like, oh, keep the change. It's like, who's giving who a tip?
Yeah.
What? And he points out that that's why they're struggling. And to be fair, he's not wrong at this point.
He's the big businessman. She's the Anne Hesh tribute act. Do you know what I mean? That can't seem to sell coffee.
That's it. Like, there's only 2 of them working there. She's not paying one of them. And they're only having the homeless people in who are not paying anything and stinking the place up with their cars. They could at least leave them outside. But like, it's so, how much more tragedy can we pour on this person, isn't it? And I'm like, I don't really.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to feel sympathy for her, and I'm like, no, she's an idiot.
Yeah, she's useless.
And also, Tim Cratchit, the sixth, is not a good dude. And the point around the original Christmas Carol is that Scrooge was not a good dude. But this guy is just worse. He's like an actual sociopath or psychopath or something.
That's how you get ahead in business.
But there's no like. The problem is that it doesn't redeem him. He just has like a sudden inexplicable. Whereas the thing around the original is that Scrooge is sort of like shaken by what he sees and shaken into being a good person.
Doesn't want to be remembered as a bad man. Whereas this guy's just like, oh,
kill the poor.
There's Ghostface down there. Best do a runner from that. Yeah.
It's got not good to mix classes.
That got me as well. I was like, God, I bet he believes in phrenology and all sorts of this lad, doesn't he?
He's killed a lot of hookers, hasn't he? There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, Roland's had to drive out into the desert and dig a couple of graves, yeah.
We get a weird scene now with Scrooge in the past. He's going to fire Bob Cratchit, the original.
Oh, what colour tie should I wear? Red, because it is Christmas, of course. Shoot me in the throat.
Okay. This kind of playing tricks on Bob thing just needs to stop.
Bob
must be on edge all the time.
Every day he's coming in and he's like, you're fired. He's like, oh, no, Mr. Scrooge, seriously. Like,
it's like, not really. Here's a bag of jewels.
It's very Michael Scott in The Office, to be fair. It's like, but he comes in and he's like, oh, I've got a great present for him. But first, and I'm like, who are you talking to as well? Because like, there's no one else there. You're not addressing us directly as the audience. You're just sort of monologuing to yourself.
He's put his stapler in jelly. That's what he's done here.
Is Scrooge on drugs? Is something that I've written. And I never found out the answer to that question, but I got more questions as I went along.
He's high on life, James. Come on.
Tiny Tim is cured of legitis. He no longer needs his crutches.
No, he doesn't. Have the crutch.
Scrooge paid for an operation, which I imagine in Victorian England was just, I don't know, put a load of laudanum in him and see what happens. Like,
Jeff down the road with a bone saw.
Yeah, but it's not the story of it. It's because he's weak because he's malnourished. Like, that's the thing, isn't it? But no, like, he comes in, Bob Cratchit or Avid Merrion.
Who is not in this film?
Who he comes in, he's like, "Oh, I bought a wreath, Mr. Scrooge, chim chimney," and he's like, "Dick Bob." He just does that thing that he does at the end of the book, like where he like, and then he goes, "Ha, what a great jape!" And like you said, you can see Bob's just dead behind the eyes. He's like, "I hate my life."
Another day of this.
Another day of pranks. Oh, a whoopee cushion under my chair, Mr. Scrooge.
It's a fly in a plastic ice cube. Yeah, it was the jape of the season. I declare it the jape of the season.
And then he's like, "No, here's what I'm going to do. You're no longer going to be working for me." And he's like, "What?" And it would have been proper. It was like, went proper Muppets Christmas Carol. And like his missus came in, "I'll raise you after." Yeah, but we'd get nothing. And he just goes, "No, I'm going to make you my partner." And I'm like, his presents next year is going to have to be something tremendous, isn't it? Because it's like,
it's going to give him a reach around.
I was going to say, you have to give him,
it's going to make him a partner in a different sense, yeah.
In the biblical sense, which would be good for this film, you know.
I mean, there probably is a film called Mr. Scrooge to see you.
To bum you.
Just wipe the sets down when you've done, please, says Zammo. And he's like, "I've got these two identical documents. You sign one and I'll take the other one." I'm like, "That's how that works? I don't know." Whatever. But we're now Scrooge and Cratchit money lenders?
Financial, yeah.
Right. And he's like, "What about Marley?" And Marley's dead, mate.
Yeah.
He basically says, doesn't he?
It's like, I only saw him at the start of the film. He looked quite well.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Anyway, off you fuck. Anyway, just go off home." He's like, "Are you sure?"
Mrs. Cratchit is making a dinner. You will come round. Yeah, I've got this crutch. Because Tiny Tim's wrote him a note as well. Saying, what is it? Everyone needs a crutch from time to time, and it's good if you can be the crutch of someone else. And all I kept hearing, because I was bored at this point, was crotch. Because it made it funnier. Everyone needs a crotch to lean on. That's a Joe Cocker song.
So as soon as he goes out the door, he's like, "Oh, I need to think of another present now for this family. Stop targeting this poor family."
No, he's like, "I
there
know
are
I need to
other
go."
needy people.
Classic man. He's left all his shopping till Christmas Eve. So, everyone's getting an AA Big Book of the Road and some windscreen wiper blades.
A bag of charcoal.
Yeah. Oh, a blue CD on the Hallmark label. That's sure to be good. Yeah, it's. Oh. And he goes out the door. He turns around to lock it, and we get. And he's in the future.
Not even that.
No, we don't
the
even
most
get a
underwhelming moving into the future there is. All I wanted was like a timey-wimey wormhole. Just a bit of a dream kind of sequence. Just haze over the desert. Nothing. He just turns around and he can't lock the door anymore because it's a fucking wall.
Yeah. Yeah, no. We had one special effect, and that was Marley appearing at the start.
Yeah, and then he goes, "Marley," and
he backs away.
Backs away from it like a crap.
I've got it's this Boise. Yeah, and then he scuttles off, and I was like, "Oh dear!"
Like backwards and looking up at the sky, like for some sort of vindictive dragon or something about to swoop down on him. It was just. He does a lot of staggering around in this film.
There's a lot of big
peculiar.
Acting. Yeah.
If I cared more, I would have counted the amount of time taken up by him just roaming around doing bits.
I would say about 45 minutes of this film.
I would heavily set for that. Yeah. We cut to Cratchit's office. Meanwhile, in the present day, Cratchit's office has lots of random portraits in it. Do your best.
It wasn't that. No, he's walking around with Roland, isn't it? And he's like, "Where's Stevenson from the reception? Fire him. He's not here." And he's like, "But it's Christmas week, sir." Or it's something like that. And he's like, it's just to show how much of a bastard, really. But he's doing all this stuff. And it's clearly filmed in Zambo's production office, isn't it? Like, this is the floor they've hired.
I looked it up, and there's like a bunch of like community centres that they leaned on for this. The whole church network pitched in, and this film got done. At some point, there'll be a film about how this film got made.
Trolls 2.
Yeah. He pulls out a Polaroid that he's got of him and Belle that's so shittily photoshopped together. His head is massive.
I'm going to have to screenshot that picture because it is tremendous that someone's gone, "Your little Jimmy knows Photoshop. Get him to do this." And little Jimmy has only got one arm, bless him. And it's...
He needs a crutch, little Jimmy. That's what he's missing.
It's such a bad Photoshop. But yeah, in his office, we have the wall of Cratchit.
Yeah.
Going from... Well, I had for the first one, I had David Walliams.
Oh, Bill Gates.
Well,
yes, eek.
And then Avid Merry and Lee Francis again for the next one. And then there was
Oh,
one
Rice
for-
Derby I had for
okay.
Oh, very
Bob
good.
Cratchit. Yeah.
And then there was one a bit further down that I want to say looks like the guy from Mad Max Fury Road, who's like, "We're going off course." That's that guy, and the rest of them they were just generic
The
white
bullet
dudes.
farmer. Oh,
Yeah.
the
The guy that's just on
leader.
the rig at the start with Furiosa, yeah. But
I
other than
had
that,
Joe Starlin as one of them. The young Joe
possibly,
Starlin.
like, I literally think they just went to a thingy and photocopied old men from books and put them in a frame
Well,
on the wall.
At least the other ones actually look like painters, but they've done the first three themselves because they want to lean in on the fact that there's people from the past in this film, and they are shonky as fuck.
Your Margaret
Like-
does watercolors, doesn't she? Yeah, get her to do these. Right, okay. She's not very good since the stroke. It's,
It's just like-
we'll
it's
give her a
supposed to be
thank you in the credits at the end.
like that raccoon.
It's supposed to
that
be a
paints
proper
his
film. It's supposed to be a proper film, and in the background, you've just got this sort of face.
It's good. I liked it because it's when Mr. Scrooge comes in later. He looks and he goes, "It's you," and I was like, "If I looked like that picture, I'd be very upset." But yeah, he's yelling and carrying on like he does. He's going to raise the rent of the youth centre.
Yeah.
'Cause-
You know he's evil because of the EDM background track that he's got.
This happens
Pump
a
up the
lot.
jams, pump up.
There's a lot of like a Mr. Motivator workout video. I was like,
It pipes up at random times.
yeah,
as well.
like
Yeah.
you think you normally have like jangle jangle jingle bell music. Nope, you've got the step class CD2. Yeah, it's very very weird. Yeah, he's raising the rent on that. Like, and even Ronald's like, this is unnecessarily evil. Like, and he's like, well, maybe they should decrease the surplus pop. He's doing all that.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
they absolutely rip off the original text with utter stinkiness throughout. You're kind of like, wah, wah, we get it. You've read the book once.
You've watched Muppets Christmas Carol.
you've watched that one with George C. Scott in. Ow, my groin! Oh, no, that's a different George C. Scott film.
Oh, that's man getting hit by footballs to the groin. That's my
Correct.
favourite.
That's
give it the
it's like,
money
give
now.
that man the $10,000. It's the Christmas film of the season.
Yeah.
Belle is looking at the same weird Polaroid that they've both got of each other.
Which is not how
and-
Polaroids work as well. Just wanted to
No,
point
it's
that out.
not. Unless they took two at
the same time. Yeah.
Scrooge turns up at this moment in Belle's diner, or whatever, the dinner bell. And
Have we not had
then-
the fun bants with the taxi and the Father Christmas yet?
No, that's when he gets shoved out
Oh.
onto the street later.
We've shoved into a volcano.
Petra descends on Scrooge, who doesn't understand ketchup. He orders a pot of tea, so they just bring him a mug of one.
Well, he says a spot of tea, and she goes, "Ooh, a spot of tea." And I was like, "This is why no one's in here, because you're horrible at your job."
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I mean,
Just
the
take
thing
the
with the
piss out of all the
ketchup, I'm
customers.
thinking they're going like, "All right, this is supposed to be like a future kids sort of thing," but
I thought she was just thinking about the bottom line. She's made for that man later on. Belle starts quoting Shakespeare, and there's a lot of Shakespeare in this.
again, it's just like fill out the script, bang a load of Shakespeare in there. Nobody
And
can.
I'm
he's
surprised
like,
the
"Oh,
Yellow
the
Pages
Bards."
didn't end up in there.
Aaron A. Aronson, anyone?
Everyone who enters the dinner bell has a story. I bet yours is a humdinger. A humbugger.
Oh, Jesus. Who are we
I actually-
humbuggering?
Ah, that's the name of it. Not Mr. Scrooge to bum you. Humbug.
This thing writes itself.
Yeah, but then she,
Oh.
Unlike this thing.
oh no, because then she's like, "Oh, why are you talking like that?" And and then she starts going, "Oh, blimey!" Oh,
Yeah.
His accent isn't any more English.
No,
than
I know.
that. She tells him in the weirdest bit of this weird film. She tells him that he's in the United States of America in 2013, and for some reason he thinks that's the colonies, even though
No,
in
the
his own time
colonies. The
it wasn't the
colonies.
colonies then either.
no.
So yeah, he's time
Anachronism.
travelled. She says that she knows that his business still exists and it's extorting her. Tim Cratchit is the descendant. and is-
Extorting her. He's doing his job.
Yeah.
well, from her
She's
point
just,
of
yeah,
view.
she's shit at the business, and he's good at the business. It is what it is. Welcome to capitalist America,
Yeah.
2013.
So he's like, well, I shall go to this place of business then. And she reckons he's a spy because he's the most evidently suspicious man. that's ever
All,
existed.
all spies wear big top hats, don't we? It's just me and you, giant whirring hat. Yeah.
So he decides to pay. He decides to pay with a shilling, which he puts down. And
Yeah,
then asks
it's a
directions
crown,
from the bar.
actually. It's a crown.
Oh yeah, and
It's
yeah,
worth
and
over £2,000 later on.
All
So
right. Does that turn
why
out to
doesn't
be
he just
legit?
sell his? Why didn't he just sell his coins? And he could have paid it off.
Because I looked up shillings and it cost about like 52 quid. I think I found I could buy it
Yeah.
for.
no, it is it's a crown or some. It's a bunch of doubloons or something.
Yeah, it'd be
It's
like
Nazi gold. I don't
penny
know.
bit or something.
Don't think too much about it, James. It's a really good film.
Has he walked past the homeless man in the cafe as well?
Right. So then he
Who's
goes.
just
He goes
chilling,
out and
like
there's
leg
this
on
dude.
the booth,
Yeah.
like. And I'm like,
He's giving it the big Jacob Rees-Mogg lean, isn't he?
I'm like, this is why no one's here. There's a stinky homeless man airing his plums, his sugar plums.
But he's maybe not quite that stinky as we might learn later
Oh,
on. His acting stinks.
One of the
Yeah, to
many
get free
twists.
coffee. That's what he's
Yeah.
doing. He's
Leave
extorting
the
her.
pot. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the pot. Oh, that infuriated me. Why don't you just give us the pot, Bell? Why don't you just pay for your fucking coffee, mate?
You see, no, we'll get to that. He could have put
Yeah,
it on the
Scrooge
spot,
wanders out into open traffic, tries to jack a car, but it's alarmed. That was a bit weird. And this is the point where you meet Santa Claus, who wants to take us through this fucking.
This guy clearly has done level 1 improv, and he's doing that thing like is it not Jehovah's because they don't celebrate? What's it? Salvation Army thing in it where they have like a guy in the corner.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
and the pot.
He's like that, but obviously they're not going to show that wrong kind of for this. I don't know. And he's just like, "Oh, Santa, it's so good to see." I was like, "When did Scrooge ever get Santa in the?"
Yeah, and why would he call him Santa?
You call him Father Christmas.
Yeah.
And this guy, bless him, is trying, but he
Well, he's not trying that hard because he nearly beams him with his. He's like, "Fuck off!" So
it would have been better if he did, and the film ended. Scrooge never made it home, like the end of Quantum Leap.
Mr. Scrooge isn't here to see you, sadly. Mr. Scrooge here to see you, the morgue.
And he's not got health insurance as well, so well, have fun with that.
Mr. Scrooge isn't seeing anyone at the moment. He's heavily concussed.
His eyes are covered in gauze.
So Santa calls down a cab and is like, "Fuck it, just take him. I'm sick and tired of this drunk man." He then turns up at the offices of Cratchit and what's it called again? It's
Scrooge
like
Scrooge and Marley.
Scrooge and Cratchit.
Scrooge and Cratchit, sorry, yeah. This taxi appears very quickly. There's like a screechy noise, like it's Dale Earnhardt.
Oh yeah, I mean it's always like 2 yards away from just striking a pedestrian.
But he throws him into the taxi and says, "Take him to this thing," and then Scrooge just screams in the back as well because it's where is the horse to drive this carriage? And I'm like, you've seen cars driving since you've been here.
Yeah,
like even with your crab walk.
Oh yeah, he's very selective with what he understands, as all old people are. But, yeah. He goes to the officers, Cratchit, saying that he doesn't want to fund the youth centre. In fact, he wants to put the rent up by £1,000.
Because in the bylaws, in the vault, they've got like a vault of historical artifacts or something, and it says they have to do like a Christmas donation every year, and he's trying to get that money back by jacking the rent. And I was like,
it belongs in a museum.
Yeah, it's so weird.
It's a vault full of top men. That's what it is.
Yeah, and then like Roland's like, "Yeah, this is way too evil. I'm going to go outside." Oh, there's a madman outside in the top hat. See you, and he's doing like this acting like he needs a wee.
There's Mr. Scrooge to see you. Cratchit recognises his face from the goon picture on the wall.
Jesus, it's watercolor challenge.
He explains that I think it's the son of Tiny Tim moved the company over to America in 1946 for some reason. It would have made more sense before the Second World War, like fleeing the bombs sort of thing, not when it's all finished. But yeah.
No, but I said America had everything, didn't they? And we were fucked. So, you know,
we
were on our asses, and they were like, "Oh, well, we saved your asses in WW2. All right, mate, whatever."
He does all these questions of like, when were you born? When did Marley die? And all this sort of stuff. And I'm like, well, anyone could look that up. That's not like protected information, is it?
And he's like, "Oh, you know when you die, don't you?" And he's like, "Well, no, because I'm not dead." And he's like, "Well, I'm going to tell you then." And he's like, "Well, don't tell me that.
Yeah, don't ruin the surprise."
And then he gets chucked into a pole by a man.
Yeah, he doesn't believe
with a very
him.
patriotic tie.
Yeah, and he don't choose comes back or something like that. That was his big acting. That 5 years of Rada. And she just like sort of scuttles about for ages.
Yeah, well, the music cuts out at this point because
This
we
is
watched it on YouTube.
Yeah, I was going to try and find like a proper version of it, see what the music actually was. But I think there was a song written for it 'cause in the opening credits. There is like a song written by someone, and whether they've claimed copyright on it 'cause they don't know, or whether it's you automatic. But it's him literally walking around Great New Britain or whatever it's called.
Yeah, to what I assume naturally was everyone's talking in the Midnight Cowboy.
Oh, of course.
So she just wanders around this cold town. Works very well.
I had 1,000 Miles by Vanessa Carlton.
Oh, diddly, 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 diddly. I was very disappointed it wasn't Money by the Flying Lizards, which, of course, I won't sing because I'll probably get put in jail.
That could have been Super Beast by Rob Zombie. That would have been fun. Like,
hey, that would have been good.
It could have been.
What about Sweat a la 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 long by Inner Circle?
Inner Circle, yeah. Bit of 90s. Oh, Patchy Indian.
Which, until the day my stepmother died, that was the ringtone on her phone.
Lovely. Did she not know how to get it off? Or was she a big fan?
No, she was a character. She liked a reggae and dub. My stepmother.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
He just wanders around for ages, doing like looking at Christmas trees, being surprised by stuff. It's
and Tim's drinking alcohol like a bad bastard.
Yeah, it's apple juice.
And Belle's, and Belle's looking at her debts. Just as a reminder, Belle's fucked, mate.
Yeah, she's got
and bums around a bin fire somewhere.
Bums around an oil drum fire. Yeah, I had to go and clear up an oil drum fire the other day at work.
Oh, really?
There you go. Yeah, I didn't realise I'd moved to
escape
from New York. Yeah,
I think when my brother was on strike a while back, they had an oil drum thing, but then he moved it all away after.
Did they? Yeah. Did they sit day and night by the old cooling tower?
Like, are you just doing that for the optics? He went, yeah, like, you know.
I bet that was on every fucker's Instagram, wasn't it?
But yeah, he
good man. At least he wasn't a scab.
Yeah,
good lad.
He marches about for age doing stuff. Belle's got her green visor on and her adding machine, like you said, Cratchits sitting in his office drinking whiskey and having a ponder, looking at the weird painting of Scrooge on the wall.
Getting aroused by it.
Should I kiss it?
Mr. Scrooge, to see your erection, sir.
Stop it.
Sorry.
I genuinely don't know what happens then. Does he go see Belle again? Because
no, is this where he goes? He goes to the bench. He goes to the really uncomfortable bench and goes to lie on it. It's a tiny bench. In fact, it's one of those that you get in a garden centre for your garden. It's so small. It doesn't even have a plaque on that said he loved the view, and he's usually facing a brick wall. Yeah.
It could accommodate two people sitting down, but Scrooge does not fucking budge. He sits in the middle of it, so this other dude can't sit down, which I thought was a dick move.
What was he called?
Matthew.
Of course he fucking was.
Oh, yeah, he's like, step into my office or whatever. And I was like, it's a bench. And he's like, yeah, I'm king of the tramp.
He gives him a blanket and says, I'm here to serve. How about you? Dance off time? Question mark.
How about you? Is this like when I went into the public toilets that time and I got asked if I was going north or south by a man, and I didn't realise that it was like codes, so I just went, no, I'm just going home. Like I was just like,
that's nice. Yeah, no, that's
what does that mean?
It was only when I got out and I was talking on the way back, and I was like, oh yeah, you've just been propositioned, and I was like, well, that's nice.
I mean, it's a nice boost for your confidence, isn't it?
Well done, mate.
Yeah, good for you.
I'm so winning.
Yeah, me both.
And then we get like
strikes 12. We get a whole thing. Weird dreams about Jacob Marley going.
Yeah,
something about human clay. I don't know.
I can't remember any more of their songs.
No, because
Salty Big Ian.
Because it's like, is Marley trying to talk to him in the dream? Or
no idea.
I've no idea, because it's a series of images that have no semblance to anything.
No.
And then he wakes up and he's like, Hoobastank! And Belle's there. Belle's there, and she's like, what are you doing? And he's like, well, I was asleep, so you woke me up. And I was like, all right. And she's like, no, come to my flat, strange man, because this coin that you gave me, I've looked on eBay, and is worth over 2,000 of your pounds, he says.
I bet it's not.
And he goes, I shall have a word with this Mr. eBay.
Oh, Mr. eBay.
Yeah.
Not the worst thing in this film.
Oh, there's so much worse coming in the next few scenes, listener. Oh, my God.
She takes him back to the cafe, and he gets fucking fixated with Petra. That's why he learns all that Spanish later. That's why.
I mean, Petra Petra is the best thing in this by a
Oh
country
yeah,
mile.
definitely.
Yeah.
She in something with some money, it would have been that screeching, annoying woman out of Modern Family.
Oh, Sophia Vergara?
Yeah, Vergara. That's it. Yeah. Oh my goodness, Mr. Scrooge.
Oh, I was going to say it would have been her from all those 80s films. The
yeah,
White Men Can't
White Men
Jump
Can't
and-
Jump.
yeah.
Yeah, as Rosie Perez.
That's the one. Yes.
Yeah, well, Rosie Perez, arguably a better actor.
What than
Oh yeah,
Petra?
she's not a good
than
actress.
Sophia Vergara, who
The
just does
dog
one
Petra
thing.
is a better actress than Petra in this. Like,
I think you're being unkind to Petra.
down ship.
Just because she's the one minority in this.
It's not for that reason.
She's got attitude, and that,
English isn't even her
respect
first
that.
language, and she's the best thing in
Yeah,
it.
she's spunky. I'll give her that.
She's willing to climb the greasy pole, and it's
No,
not
I
pretty,
watched Gen V
but
today,
I respect that.
She's spuggy. Did you say?
I said she's
We've gone.
spunky.
Oh right, I was going to say we've gone from
Biker Grove.
Zammo to Spuggy. References for nobody.
No. Right, yeah, and he's like, well, we can save this somehow because
We can save Christmas.
we can save
Yeah.
your cafe because I'm a partner with this guy, and here's some paperwork to prove it.
Yeah.
And then she goes like, well, we can't go now, and we're gonna have to show you how like modern industry works. I was like, you don't know how modern industry works because that's why your cafe's failing.
And then we get a learning montage
Oh
of
Jesus!
them memorizing modern terms. And some of them are some of them are banking terms that he would have known from the 19th century anyway, and some of it's just Spanish that he's learning
Well, he's
really rapidly over the course of a day.
he's a smart kid. Like he's a smart guy, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, he learns like what net yield is and like all this stuff, and then he also learns some cool 2013 phrases like
Oh my God!
like swag me up, Jimmy. And,
I'm grilling and chilling.
yeah,
My bad.
yeah, totally bodacious radical dudes.
Nice, nice swag, and
Yeah, that was
I'm
it.
stoked.
I mean, I still.
And I put, this is the worst episode of Queer Eye ever.
But it is like, don't put stuff like this in your film because it will date it massively. Like,
There's this right. The best bit of writing in my eyes is like a one throwaway line. He hides behind the sofa from the man on the telly, not Roger
no,
Melly.
She takes him to her house, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, we need to get you some clothes. You can put some of my dead dads on after I've sniffed them up first.
Yes, it still smells like his crotch. Ugh, daddy issues.
Did you say crotch or crutch? Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, but there is that good bit where he's lurking near the television.
And he's like, yes, what kind of clothes would you like? And he says, well, I'll probably have to wear something because it's going to be cool outside. The man through the window said so. And obviously he's watching the TV. And then he says something like, the Lions and the Bears, what's going to happen with the Lions and the Bears this weekend? Something about the pack. And he goes, but what about the Bears and the Lions? And her line is, oh, the pack will take care of them. And I was like, I get that particularly specific American football reference.
Yeah, that was.
And it was fun. And
that
I
was
liked
fine.
it.
Yeah.
I liked
He
it. It was
decided
fun.
to hide from it, like that man's not gone away from the window.
Yeah,
Just hide
behind
behind the
the
couch,
sofa.
like what a child would do.
Also, she takes him to Phones for You, which I was just furious about.
Yeah, the montage thing is one of those that I really hated.
All the more because it was clearly shot in July. But
Yeah.
But
She gets him a new haircut, which is exactly the same as the previous haircut.
Yeah.
And I think might have been done by an 80s robot, because obviously it's a montage.
They go to the office to see Cratchit again. Scrooge announces that he's entitled to half of the business despite not being a legal person anymore.
No, despite being a
Like,
fictional
can't
character is
turn
the
up.
main thing I got.
Time travel surely doesn't count. Like time travel would annul the.
Yeah, the law does not count.
What
as time
they're going to
travel.
cut him in half and
I
count the
watched
number
a
of
lot
fucking
of
rings.
The Good Wife, right? And I don't think this would have a leg to stand on. Like it's also with the phone thing. She goes, answer it. He answers it, and she goes, hello. And he goes, how did you get in there? You can still see her. She's not
Yeah.
in the phone.
I mean, surely back then they had tin cans with a bit of string on,
Yeah,
or just a walnut shell. with
He
a
has
bit
to
of
undergo a
string on.
mandatory physical upon joining the company.
Well,
What, to check his prostate or something?
It
What's
turns
this?
out that Roland minored in document authorization thing. Like that guy they always get in on porn stars. Like whenever someone
Yeah,
brings something
yeah.
in, he's always got a guy that's good at stamps or piss merchandise or something.
Yeah. It's just his mate from the boozer, and he's like, if I give you $50, will you pretend that you're this guy? Yeah,
say
fuck
it's
it,
£8
why
quid.
not?
Say it's worth £8, mate. And he's got a big magnifying glass. He's like, yeah, it's legit. And he's like, oh, okay, like Cratchit hasn't got a legal leg stand, really. And he has. But yeah, he insists that they have some. I think it's to take his blood so they could see if it is him.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, question mark.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Because he goes, oh, the physical that we all have, and Roland goes, huh? Like, so it's obviously a thing he's made up.
Is it just so he can tickle Scrooge's balls?
I mean, don't shock said balls.
Mr. Scrooge's testicle to see.
It's a weird thing. I didn't understand why they did. Okay.
Scrooge then sort of like semi takes over the company. There's a bit where he's on his phone playing Angry Birds, and it's just
these pigs, the distasteful birds have got a thing for the pigs. Yeah, we get it. I mean, there was a film 4 years from now.
Yeah, but again, it's like it's 3-minute long scene that doesn't go anywhere.
No.
Yep. He makes a weird handmade chart for some investors that makes no sense. He's friendly with the Spanish one at the office, which feels very pointedly. It made me feel uncomfortable. One of the people in the office calls him Scroogey.
Yeah,
I'm into that.
Scroogester.
The Scrooge Meister.
It's another montage of him showing how good he is at business. Like, if you lower the interest rates, more people will come to you and you'll make more money. And everyone's like, that's brilliant. Why didn't we think of that? And I'm like,
well, I mean, I agree. Lower the interest rates. Are you listening, Sunak? Yeah. Lower the interest rates. It's a great thing to do. And then a little bit later on,
they save the youth centre.
They go to a pub quiz, and he throws a shoe over the pub, over the roof of the pub. A little bit later on, old Scroogey. Good work.
It's just this montage of him showing how good he is for the company.
Yeah.
He even has one of these giant checks. I've always wanted one of those giant checks.
Oh, of course, who hasn't?
I've just donated 100 quid to Mind on behalf of 100 Things We Learned from Film. And at no point did they give me an opportunity to for a giant check. I was a bit disappointed. I nearly scribbled it on a bit of A4, but it didn't really work. I need a bit of flip chart.
Put it behind that. I guess that one of those magnifying screens. Put it on an overhead projector and pretend.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, but like stand holding it. Like, although the listeners, I look like I'm being attacked by a giant Mr. Scrooge who's here to see me right now.
Like a lizard. Yeah,
by a Q the Winged Serpent.
They give money to the youth centre, and they're lowering the rent on the youth centre, so that's double trouble.
Which they hold a press conference for. As though anyone's attending that.
Cratchit's raging, by the way, but no one's gone, cheer up, Cratchit, it's tax deductible, mate. Yeah, come on.
How much money is too much money, Cratchit? The thing is, like, he's not swanking around in a Rolls Royce, is he? Like, he doesn't look like he's
not the 1% as much as he thinks he is. He's like your uncle who's got a caravan at Camber Sands and thinks that he's absolutely made it. Thinks he's minted because he's got a little fridge full of Carlin, and some baby sham. Yeah.
I think they make
there's also an advert that Scrooge makes in English and Spanish, thus capitalising on his newfound Spanish talent.
I wasn't against this.
I wasn't against it, but I was puzzled by it because I looked it up, and only 4% of Wisconsin's population are Spanish speakers. It's not like a border state where it could plausibly have quite a lot of people speaking Spanish. It's like almost as northerly as you can go.
But perhaps they're one of these
French
online firms where they'll just they'll do it all over the country.
How are these people trapped in the tiny box? That's what he'd have said, isn't it? Like,
yeah, of course it is.
It was. I enjoyed that bit because at least I was like, well, that's a payoff for them learning Spanish.
Well, I was a bit like, where's this lead into? And it doesn't lead anywhere. No. You're right. You were right. You warned me about that. It doesn't lead absolutely anywhere.
I love this multi-million-dollar company that they work at, the office. Why does it like a shared workspace at the back of an industrial estate in Hartlepool? Yep, that's what I had the issue with.
Yeah.
A lot of grey booths, yeah.
And they're very low down booths as well, which is a bit
weird. It looks like it's just people. It looked like where Colin Robinson works in What We Do in the Shadows.
It's a hotspot sharing place, isn't it? You can rent a booth for
Mr. Scrooge to see your hotspot.
What the hotspot not?
a not? I can't remember a not spot.
We don't talk about Barrymore.
No. I wish we didn't talk about fucking Scylla. Anyway.
Cratchit organises a private meeting with Belle in an alleyway where I genuinely thought he was just going to murder her.
This is where they spend 15 minutes punching the fuck out of one another, trying to get one another, put some sunglasses on.
That would have been better. Rowdy Roddy Piper appears. Yeah, like. Oh.
I would have been it. Put on the goddamn glasses.
No, he just goes, I'll write your mortgage off. You've just got to get rid of Scrooge.
Yeah, so he's asking him to murder him for no. Yeah, I mean, great,
well,
fantastic.
It's not like
whatever.
she has sway over him.
Which she tries to say.
But she
Like,
can
I don't
stand
know who
over
this
him while he
bastard is.
sleeps.
No, he's just some random guy.
Mr. Scrooge is a loose cannon. He does what he wants.
She serves him his coffee in the morning, so just drop a bit of cyanide in it, son. You'll be all right.
I honestly think Petra threatened to kill Timothy with rat poison earlier on. Actually.
Oh yes, yeah, there was that. Yeah,
again, terrible at her job. But she goes, no, it's not about money. It's about the friends we make along the way, or something.
The businesses we lose along the way.
And she rips it up, and she's like, and he's just made a big steak.
Why, yada.
Yeah.
And then Santa reappears in it again. He's been hired by Scrooge to just stand outside the offices, intimidating people with his bell.
Hired Santa goons?
And Cratchit doesn't like it.
He doesn't like it because he says Christmas is overeating, overdrinking, and overspending. And I was like, yeah.
I mean,
yeah, I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with, yeah.
I've got the money. I can do it. It's fine. Let me go. Okay, fine. Yeah.
It's Scrooge thing of why are you so miserable? You're rich enough. Why are you so happy poor enough? That's the thing. But again, he's not rich because he's working out of a shared space.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's been a Christmas explosion at the office. There's about
Is that like
five trees in there. It's weird.
Christmas explosion!
They wheeled up the Christmas trees at my work, and I was like, "There's like 8 people in our office. I'm not fucking about putting a Christmas tree up."
No, absolutely.
It's festive. You fucking do it then. I'm not. But
I would pay money for a John Spencer Christmas explosion. By the way.
I hate this film. There's still so much
Ronald has a Santa hat on. Scrooge has also rehired the fired worker and given him a pay rise. So Cratchit walks up to him and seizes the company credit card, which is a pretty good idea, having seen the amount of stuff that he's just gone out and bought on the fly, just for a day.
Yeah, he's like, I've been to a big box store and bought all this, and now we have free hotel rooms because of the credit card.
Oh, because of the bonus points or something. I'm pretty sure this is the bit where he says to him, he says, I can tell you the day that you died.
It's as he leaves, because they have a set to, don't they? And he's like, get out, you mad git. And he's like, but the Christmas spirit and all that. And he's like, what was it? Is it where we find out that he's an orphan at this point?
Yeah, he's adopted, and he's really angry about it. And it's like, well, I'm not a Cratchit. It's not my fault you don't know what adoption is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Your surname is Cratchit. You own this business. Like, what more do you need from me?
For all legal purposes, because you've not got the same DNA.
He says that he died on the 9th of June, 1870, which is actually the day that Charles Dickens died.
Yeah.
Sorry, James.
That's all right. I knew somebody would do it.
The one interesting thing about this film. Yeah, Scrooge has to stomp off and he yells at him, well, this is the day you die. And Scrooge kind of goes, oh, well, that'll never come back.
So Ronaldo James, or James Ronaldo, whichever it was, has had his DNA tested. It proves he is the real Scrooge.
We tested it against some artifacts from the vault.
Yeah.
What have you kept?
That's in like the top 10 sinister lines, isn't it?
It's there with the staff of Ra.
The Ark of the Covenant.
Mr. Scrooge belongs in a museum.
He goes to say something about Belle, and he's like, "Don't tell me she's Mother Teresa." I thought that would be a good twist if she was. She'd be proper dead.
What? She's leaving children to die of their illnesses.
Well, I didn't want to go into it, but yeah,
she's being forgotten about the day she died because it was the same day that Princess Diana died. I mean, these are very specific things that I remember about Mother Teresa. It really did happen. Yeah, she died the same day as Princess Diana, and everyone went, "Oh, she's the queen of our hearts." Oh, hang on, what about this woman that helped millions of dying children?
Is it the same as like Jane Fonda and Michael Jackson as well?
No, Farrah Fawcett.
Farrah Fawcett, sorry, yeah.
Jane Fonda's still with us.
Oh,
possibly.
For now,
I thought so.
Jane Fonda to see you, Joseph. I don't know. I don't anymore.
Don't make me do workout videos, Jane Fonda.
There's more Mr. Motivator here for you.
Oh, put your buttock in the air.
Ronaldo goes on about how he wants to be part of a company that cares, not that scares. Meanwhile, Scrooge is just, I don't know, having some sort of attack of pique or something because there's
some sort of breakdown, doesn't he? And attacks these inflatables. He really showed them.
At length. This goes on for about 5 minutes of him just thrashing around at inflatable things.
It's like one of the bits that only made the extras on a Jackass film, isn't it? You know, it didn't make the actual film.
There's a weird bit when he's like, "Oh no, a giant! This must be the pack they were talking about." And then he leans over a bit and goes, "Oh," for like 30 seconds, and then he's like, "I'm just gonna hit him with a stick." And I was like, "This is so weird."
I've written in my notes at this point. This is the actual nadir of this podcast. This is the worst moment of watching this aged man attack inflatable things.
They try taking them back as well to the shop to get the money back. After
of course they did.
It's got a cane wound in it. Yeah, I don't know how that happened.
Meanwhile, Cratchit sees the ghost of Jacob Marley in a shop window. Death turns up as well because everyone's pitching in.
And his epiphany is after seeing one single ghost, which is not how the original story works.
No,
like there's a redemption arc based upon his story. But unfortunately for him, it's just Marley turns up because truly it is my sacrifice.
But how would you know who Marley was? Right?
Yeah.
It's just
a random ghost, isn't it?
It's just a ghost.
Right? Probably a portrait of him up somewhere. Come on.
Probably, yeah. Why have you got a picture of Scott Stapley Creed in there?
Jesus, you know his name. I mean, I might have known his name 20 years ago.
Yeah. And then he turns around and Death's there and he's like, whoa. And he's like, he runs off, nearly gets hit by a car. Scrooge saves him being hit by the horse carriage. And he's like, why did you save me? He's like, I'm not going to let a man die, am I? Like, I'm not Phil Collins.
No, he says, none of us deserve help, but we got it nonetheless. I thought that's bleak, isn't it?
None of us. No, I mean, does this podcast count for nothing? Have we done nothing with our lives, lads?
No. I mean, no.
All right, fine.
Very much like you said on 100 Things this week, I've wasted my life up to this point.
Oh, I have. Yes, just references for nobody. It's my entire life.
So they go into a church, which actually has more festive restraint than the financial office just down the road.
They're still outside, and what's he called? Matthew.
Matt the priest, yeah.
And he
Matt the sexy priest.
And he's like, "Oh, let me take you into where I work." And he brings him into this church, and it's a decked out church, right? So he's in Belle's cafe, the Bell Jar or whatever it's called, leeching off her, right? And then not.
Meanwhile, he's in one of these Greek Orthodox churches dripping with gold. Yeah, absolutely. Fucking churches, man.
Toilet paper made of pandas. Yeah, it's outrageous.
He's got a big bonk-on for Belle as well, because he goes on about how brilliant she is. Gets very religious, as you can well imagine at this point. With what I get in here, I know that I can always face what's out there. Oh, yeah, communion wine. Yeah, I get it.
Well, I was going to say tithing, but yeah, sure. All of the above. Money and bitches, fine. Yeah.
I shouldn't be behind a pulpit. I should be under a bridge. I should be swinging from a lamppost.
You should be under a fucking horseless carriage, mate.
But he's like, well, I have to go to a moving party. That's nothing.
Oh, that's like a painting party, isn't it? Where you get absolutely wankered and just end up painting a cock
on the wall,
jizzing on the wall. Yeah, we've all done it.
And like at this point, right, Cratchit's like, I'm a changed man. I've seen the error of my ways, and I'm like, this is no.
Like in 5 seconds, of a 2-hour film, he's seen the error of his ways.
Anyway,
he got hit by a car.
He got hit by a car.
I've got hit by a car. There's nothing spiritual about that.
Maybe there was for the bloke who hit you with the car.
I don't remember how to work out the area of a circle anymore, but so yeah, they leave and arrive at this party, and in the car from church, which must be walking distance, right? Because there's no way Father Matt's paying for a taxi over there, is there? Like,
well, with all that gold, it'll be all right.
Do you reckon it's one of the churches where like John Wick's baddies hang out, and there's just, like, a room downstairs full of drugs and like big gold icons? They go in and he's like, right, here's the thing. Oh, we found out some information about Belle, but they won't tell us what it is as well. There's a secret about Belle.
She's dead. No,
I was hoping that, like, yeah, she would be like,
it's short for Belle.
3 crocodiles in a human skin, something, anything. But no, they go in, and like Belle and Roland's there. Roland's packed his job in. He's just hanging out with Belle all the time now. It's like they give the homeless lady a big load of cheese, and she's made up with it.
Yeah. And he goes, how's it going? Well, I've just given away all my cheese, so you fucking tell me, mate. I can't believe we've done Zammo, but at no point have we done Roland yet.
Oh,
let ourselves down.
Yeah.
It's just company.
Damn.
Only when I gave away all that cheese.
Cratchit turns up with Scrooge, and Petra goes, El Diablo. Like, you know what, Scrooge? I don't think I need you to translate that one for me.
If she was doing a Diablo behind the counter, that'd have been
If only we knew some.
We do. I've seen it. In the really real. There's video of it somewhere. I'll tell you later.
It's not on my stepmom's camcorder, is it?
No. And he's coming. He's had a whole change of heart, and he's like, "We're gonna. Here, I've paid your mortgage off, and we're gonna do our stuff.
We're gonna forgive your debt.
Yeah.
And I need to now claim my sister." Another very sinister sentence.
That was weird.
It turns out she's a sister. He also repents capitalism at this bit. Petra can't believe it.
Another.
Yeah, Petra can't believe it. It's like, who's their dad then? Darth Vader. And then Scrooge is like, ooh. And it's all very funny.
Hitting these things at the peak of their
fucking apex, yeah.
And he makes Belle a partner at his firm. And then Petra fucking swoops in at this point. It's like, well, I like this man with his wild mood swings.
Yeah.
She's like, I have childbearing hips, I'll have you know.
Scrooge, well, I need some help at this point because I've just got here, Scrooge falls out of a balcony but can fly. I'm not quite sure what happens.
I must have missed. All I got was, I punked you Merry Christmas.
Yeah. So what happens is, like, while they're doing the, I am your brother, let's not do kissing, like, Scrooge is in the background and he just goes through a curtain and then, like, they find him. They quote Macbeth at each other. Because reasons.
Sure. Because it's free.
Because it's out of license. Yeah, and then he goes through the window and he goes, ah. And they go, oh no, he's fallen off the balcony. And then, yeah, he's just hovering in the air, like Peter Pan. And he goes, I punked you, suckers. And I was like, what? Is this the end?
Hopefully.
No.
Sadly, no.
There's
Sadly,
more.
no.
And he ends up back home, and then he immediately gets a text because his network works for the slightest amount of time.
Yeah.
He's got a text. Did anybody read the text?
I couldn't. It was too small.
I couldn't care.
Well, I couldn't either. But it was a Shakespeare quote because, of course, it was. But even more chillingly, it was all in caps, and Bella texted him just saying, "Good night, parting is such sweet sorrow."
Smiley face.
The network goes off, so the phone is essentially useless. So he gives it to a young boy.
Evening, Gavnor. What day is it? Why, it's Christmas Eve, sir.
My name's Billy Jenkins. Oh, it hurt.
Gates, William Gates, Gavnor.
Hey, there's no electricity.
Work.
There's no electricity, so that phone's no use.
Yeah.
Within about a day, right? So enjoy that.
Bill Gates didn't invent the phone.
And he also isn't 300 years old or whatever's going on here.
Yeah. About it. Yeah.
Meanwhile, cut to the press.
Scrooge, what? He goes, William Gates? No.
How do you know who that is anyway? Anyway, in the present, Bella's is gifted half of her cafe to Petra, which is all a part of Petra's plan. I know what I mean. And I respect it because at least she's got something about her. There's a chest now that's been bequeathed to them.
It's from the archives.
And it's from the vaults, yeah. She's been left half of Scrooge's half of the business or something. There's a lot of halves going on. She's already got half the business. She gets Scrooge's half. Meanwhile, Tim's got a half.
That's not right. That's not math.
This is like man, bear, pig math.
She owns like 33% of the company, and someone who doesn't live anymore has some. Stupid.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, his will would just get read at the time. Otherwise, it'd just be void. So.
Jesus.
It's also he's got a crutch in there and a Bible, or as she calls it, a how-to manual.
Oh, is that what
really?
It was?
Why is it about Jesus? Why must everything be about Jesus?
I thought it was a how-to manual. Fred Dyke, Carol Vorderman.
Well, that's how for now.
Yeah.
And then 1 year later, but also in the past.
1 year later, the end. Sex noise.
Future Cratchit turns up.
There is a letter in the chase thing where he goes on about Jesus load. Like,
oh yeah,
that was the bit where I was like, oh, the church has put money towards this and we need to get some religion in at the end, don't we?
Yeah.
Because otherwise they're going to be furious. So anything is possible. You believe in the one.
The one.
I was like, Neo? Yeah, and then we get 1 year in the past, 1 year in the future, but in past. Yeah? That makes sense.
Sure. Yeah, why not? More than anything else.
And he's going back to his door because we've only got one set. And lo and behold, who should appear but Tim the Sixth, Tiny Tim the Sixth. And I was just in the company gym, and now I'm here.
Yeah.
And he goes, quick, get inside in case anyone sees. And I was like, sees what?
Yeah.
A man?
I assume he's
Scrooge!
a boy.
It's about your kid, Scrooge! You gotta come back to the future, Scrooge.
Yeah, and then
he just shakes his fist. Man shouts at Cloud style. Marley!
Yeah, and then Marley appears and goes, the end.
And then makes a sex noise.
Lou Baker.
A little bit of Marley in my life.
Yeah, and then it ends.
It's atrocious stuff.
Such a mess of a film. It's 2 hours. It's also like one of the longest films we've ever done.
Yeah, I know I'm to blame for all of it. In the credits, by the way, I got a big kick out of fog effects, Spiegelberg Financial Services, and a word for women minister.
Spiegelberg.
So I assume that
Get
word
me their
for
non-union
women minister
Mexican equivalent
must have bought a Tupperware full of fog. There's a lot of crazy credits. It was like watching the credits in a Naked Gun film.
There was a lot of people that were related in this film, is what I
know.
know.
Hold my hand up and say I didn't watch the credits because I'd had enough at this point.
You should go back and watch the credits alone, just to wonder. Like, it was basically made guerrilla filmmaking.
Oh yeah, totally. All them external shots, no one was paying for anything. Like,
they were running as soon as there was any kind of sound of a siren. Quick, it's 5:00. Let's get out of here. Back to the church.
Take your top hat off. You look less conspicuous.
He's got hit by a car. Use it.
It's a horseless carriage, you fool.
Because that bit where he insists on getting in a carriage and horse as well. Yeah, I forgot about that.
I'd forgotten about that. No, we'll take this instead. No, it's like, fucking hell, mate, how long have you got? She's got to open for dinner at the dinner bell.
Oh, I hate it. James, your score?
2 bronze crutches.
Right.
I could have gone lower. I feel that's charitable enough.
Mark?
1 copper crutch. Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to go 1 bronze squirted ketchup because I honestly don't see how it can get any lower than this.
It's not a film, is it?
No. Even if
it's nothing.
Made for TV, it's still... Because with breaks in it, this would be 3 hours long.
Yeah.
I could watch Lord of the Rings. I could watch Dredd twice.
No, you can't, because the church won't let you.
It's fine. Yeah, it's so bad, real bad.
That was Mr. Scrooge to see you nice. Yeah, I wrote that down before you.
Sorry, James.
2013, same year as Chupacabra versus the Alamo that we've also done. A Christmas Bounty, Alone for Christmas, and the Thanksgiving House that we did relatively.
Oh, wow.
Yes. I didn't get any budgetary information for this, so I don't know how many crowns you can buy for it, but the director was Stephen F. Zammo. In addition to producing, writing, and directing film and video production, Steve served in the administration of President George H.W. Bush, and yet this is still the worst thing he's ever done.
Senior or junior?
Senior, HW.
Oh, all right. I was going to say, I think Zambo had something to do with 9/11.
Zambo was an inside job.
Stephen is the president of Salty Earth Productions, the worst named production company there ever was. It's dedicated to encouraging, producing, and distributing movies and entertainment that challenges minds, lightens hearts, and strengthens souls.
No, it doesn't.
And they've done 4 other weird films like this that have all got suspiciously high reviews, including Stand in the Gap, the opposite of National Rail Guidance. In their online store, you could pick up a copy of this very film for just $10.
What? Tom, the fat controller goes into the future and takes over a monorail.
Monorail. So a lot of his films are very religious, but one stood out to me, and that was Big Elvis 2020, the untold story of Big Elvis Valley, the world's heaviest Elvis Presley impersonator.
Yes, please.
Don't know why. I don't know what the plot is. That is the plot.
That's
apparently.
the plot. Yeah.
He's got one big blue suede shoe because of his gout.
Scrooge, David Ruprecht, I think you pronounce it. He is the American face of Supermarket Sweep, and I just put
right.
Could you imagine if Dale Winton did this?
Yeah,
So you
I'd be
might
into
know
that.
him. Well, yeah, who wouldn't? He also had a bit part as I think it's like a radio voice announcer in The Wrath of Khan, which is where you might recognise his voice.
Possibly.
I've not watched it
Okay.
enough to know that, but yeah. Otherwise, he's the executive director of the Libertarian Party of California since 2004, and according to IMDb, his nickname is Dave. Wow, wow, what a revelation!
Why did they call you that, Dave? Because it's my name.
He's also done another film called The Harlem Globetrotters on Gilligan's Island, 1981.
Yeah. I'm aware of all of the Harlem Globetrotters doing various different things.
I mean,
There's a
I knew it
Harlem
was a thing,
Globetrotters,
but-
Scooby Doo. There's quite a few things.
It went, sorry, 1984.
1981.
Like, Gilligan's Island had been off the air for some time at this point,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think.
yeah.
So, is it just, Harlem Globetrotters doing tricks on an island with coconuts? What? I'm going to have to find this now. That's why.
Curly laughed derisively at him. And then finally, and I think well-deserved last one, okay, for this, Santa, somebody called Torrey Martin. He's done Hallmark-esque films, such as Christmas on the Range, which I feel like we've come across before.
Feels like we've done that.
Mm-hmm.
And he's also done a lot of, the VeggieTales.
Oh, yeah.
Heavily
Oh,
parodied
right,
Christian
okay.
thing.
Yeah.
He's done that, so including like some of the films, I think. Also, something called Sparkle and Trotter, 2008, which is very, very, very low budget heist film. And finally, something called
Sparkle and Trotter.
Yeah, yes.
That's the worst crime fighting duo.
I don't know.
One's just
Sparky and George.
Yeah, but I've just got like Rodney and like a
Oh,
woman that
very
throws
good.
glitter at people. That's their power.
And also A Law for Christmas, which I can't quite get my head around again. It's another
What
title
law?
that's
No
like,
Easters.
A law for Christmas. Like, do you get given a law?
Yeah,
Johnny Law.
you get one
Anyway.
state ordinance.
Yeah. Oh, yes, please. Could it be from the California Book of Penal Code?
Yes.
No nunchucks.
Previous
No, none of the
episode.
other. It was that Law for Christmas was directed by Simon Wesley. Does that name ring a bell to you?
No.
We've seen one of his films before. Simon Wesley is another Christian director who did 2025, The World Enslaved by a Virus.
Oh, the nose
Oh
guy.
no.
Yeah, this brayfish dude.
Oh, he's a bad man though.
Yeah, he's
He's
a
a
bad
bad
man. Yeah.
Yeah, not in a Scrooge. That's bad way.
Yeah.
Like in a bad way.
So he's connected to Santa in this. So we've got a nice
Wow.
Hallmark group
Wow,
there.
that's terrifying thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything comes back to them.
And thus, James Fax is.
Just forget
Es
it.
no more.
Like you said, James, there was some suspiciously high reviews
Oh,
and some
no.
actually accurate low ones. But I found this and it made me laugh because they put like a warning at the start of their review. So this is a 6 out of 10, not very good. Right? That's the title. Not very good. 6 out of 10. I don't.
You have been
Charitable.
By Christmas Reviewer 18.
Okay.
Right, all caps. Beware of false reviews and reviewers. Some reviewers have only one review to their name. Now, when it is a positive review, they tell me they were involved with the movie. If it is a negative review, then they might have a grudge against the film. I have reviewed over 300 holiday films and specials. I have no agenda.
I think we've come across
Jesus.
it before. We've come across this guy before.
I feel like we have, yeah. But it rang a bell, and I was like, I have no agenda. It's a Christmas.
Unless
Okay.
the other 17 holiday reviewer iterations also use the same. I don't know.
He forgets his login. This film was an interesting idea, but the attempt is a misfire. It does have a few moments that work, but as a whole, the film is as good as a fruitcake.
I like a fruitcake.
I'm not a big fan, but I don't like rich food like that. But
I like cheap similes, so.
yeah, well, there's some other people don't like though. The writer-director of this film should have had someone else to do a polish of the screenplay. This was only a case where it looked like he hired friends, and his friends let him down. In other words, the casting was bad. Before I get to that, let me tell you what the story is. It's been a year since Scrooge has had a visit with Ghost. Now a changed man, his old business partner, sends Scrooge into the future to save Tim Cratchit the Sixth. He is now as angry as Scrooge was. That's a good line. There is a clever moment where the classic lines from A Christmas Carol are incorporated. I wouldn't have said clever, I'd have said lazy. However, that only echoes the problem with this film. Now, the biggest problem with this film is the casting of Matt Costa. He is terrible in the part. He overdoes everything. Had this been a stage performance, there would have been a fine. But in film, less is more. You know, when you go to the theatre and you can issue fines to actors that you disagree with.
Of course,
Right,
yeah. I forgot all about that.
How dare you, David Tennant?
How very dare you.
There is other things that do not work, but there is far too many to list. David Ruprecht, however, does save this film from being a total waste, W-A-I-S-T, of time. I would like to stress that when the film starts throwing off Bible verses, it becomes hard to enjoy the film. I mean, there's only like 5 minutes left when they do that. There is many people out there that find this insulting. I know this is a Christmas-themed movie. Christmas is about the birth of Christ, but A Christmas Carol is about redemption, not about someone's faith. It is about living and appreciating life. So Christmas Reviewer 18 has no agenda. And he's kind of right, but the 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
It should be less than that. It's bewildering.
Have you got a dove.org one?
I did not get to the dove.org because I forgot about it, to be honest.
I've got it here if you want it.
Go for it.
Oh, excellent.
So I won't go through all the ins and outs of it. It gets a -4 overall, but it's fine. I don't know. So it's got no positives, but here are the negatives. A -1 for language. Old geezer is used, and also freak. Barely counts as language to me. Violence -1. Scrooge is thrown out of an office and hits a pole, but it's fine.
Nothing about beating up snowmen. I know your agenda, dove.org.
-1 for drugs. There's a joke about poisoning a man.
Yeah.
That's understandable. A misunderstanding about whiskey and spirits. Drink is seen on a man's desk. A comment that Christmas is an excuse to overindulge. And then -1, other homeless people seen around a trash can fire.
Yeah.
What?
Well, I mean, sure.
Jesus hated
I don't want to
people
see that.
and fire. But right, so that gets -4, but it still says, yeah, this is still a great film to watch with your kids.
Yeah, I think it's like Dove approved.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's definitely double
Approved for all
approved.
ages.
Yeah.
Bewildering. Absolutely bewildering, their scoring system. That was 2013's Mr. Scrooge to see you. I would say any favourite lines from it, but I can't remember.
Absolutely, I'm grilling and chilling.
Marlene!
I'll go with El Diablo.
Nice swag.
Oh, Scrooge G. Say goodbye, boys and girls.
Adios.
My sacrifice. God, it's full of fucking insufferable Americans.